Everybody's looking for the latest hack that'll help grow your Instagram account. But the truth is that some of these hacks actually won't grow your business. And as a business professional, you spend so much time on social media that we want to make sure that you don't spend your time on things that are not going to help your business. So today we're breaking down 4 Instagram hacks that will not grow your business and what you can do differently to help.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The first hack that doesn't work anymore is following a mass amount of accounts. In the past, you could just, follow anybody and you'd get a lot of follow backs from that. But today, number one, it doesn't work as well. People don't follow back nearly as much as they used to a few years ago. And secondly, you have no idea who you're actually reaching when you're doing that. There also used to be a lot of, buying followers. You should never ever go out and buy followers. That's never a solution. There's a couple of key things that are important to remember when it comes to followers. The first thing to remember is that quality of your followers is way more important than the quantity. We actually have a whole video related to the quality of your Instagram followers that we recommend you check out. Now, the other thing you want to do is when you go to follow other people, you want to make sure that you strategically follow people that are part of your ideal client profile, right? This is important because you want people who are filled, right, with the same profile, who are going to be naturally attracted and interested in the content that you are putting out there for them. So if you can strategically follow people who would be in your client profile and potential clients, right? Often there's geographic limitations on that as well that you want to take into consideration. You'll have a much better chance of sparking more engagement on your profile, which is way more important than simply having a whole bunch of followers. The second hack that doesn't work is posting unnecessary content frequently just for the sake of having content out there, right? There's a lot of people that say you just need to have a maximum number of content out there to get visibility. But the truth is you actually have to have quality content, right? That's providing value to your target customer. If you post regularly, but it's not really interesting, it's not very useful information, it's actually going to be detrimental to your account because the Instagram algorithm will recognize that you have very little interest and engagement on your post. So rather than posting constantly, you're better off posting consistently. Pick a schedule that's consistent for you and make sure that you're delivering high value, high quality content that's really going to be stimulating, interesting, engaging for your ideal client market. Again, we're talking about the quality versus quantity, right, portion, and the importance of posting with purpose. A third mistake that people often make is not paying enough attention to the quality of the photos, right? Too often in our desire to post lots, we just put the content out there without necessarily focusing on the quality of the photos. And by that, we're talking about the resolution, right? How clear and focused it is, but also you want to consider the framing, right? Do you have good contrast? Do you have, little details, make sure that there's no cords in the background, little things that can be tidied up to make it in a nice sharp image that's really going to attract the eye. Because as people are scrolling through, you need to make sure that you have really, really crisp, nice photos that are going to stand out from the rest. So really important that you kind of focus on that. Another area linked to this is often people repost a lot of content, right, to their feed. But when you repost other content, you have no control over the quality of that image, and sometimes we just sort of get carried away in doing so. So our recommendation would be, when you're reposting, do a lot of that into your story, right? Stories, there's a lot less, let's say, expectation around the quality of the imagery per se, since they're just short-term, stories, 24 hours. But for your feed, you want to put as much original content as possible and really set yourself a high standard for the quality of those photos. Make sure that what you're trying to capture is really, really in focus, right? So that you don't have any sort of blurriness to it. And again, think about those colors, those contrasts, those little details that frame the image in a great way. The fourth hack that a lot of people are still working on is surrounding hashtags, right? Go back a year, 2 years, 3 years, and hashtags were so critical in your Instagram posts, right? People would put up to 30 different hashtags, and you'd be putting a combination of, local, geographic oriented hashtags, along with service oriented hashtags, along with sort of category or industry oriented hashtags. And then you had to mix it up to make sure that you didn't use the same ones in every single post. You had to have lists and batches of all sorts of different groupings of hashtags. All that has changed, right? The other debate came around whether or not to put those hashtags as part of the caption or whether they needed to be in the comments. And there was this great debate as to what was more important, what was delivering, best against the algorithm. And people were spending so much time and energy by posting and then going back into the comments and adding the hashtags as quickly as possible. All this took up so much time, and the reality is that the Instagram algorithm has changed substantially, and hashtags are no longer nearly as important as they used to be. This comes directly from the head of Instagram, so you can rest assured that if the Instagram head is telling you not to waste your time on this, that it's not really necessary. What we would recommend is, you can still input 3 to 5 key hashtags that center around some keywords, right, related to your actual content that might show up in discoverability. But the reality is that they've changed the algorithm to be much more based on people's interests as opposed to having people go and search for their own content. Instagram's gotten a lot better at showing people, things that they're already interested in, and therefore they don't need to go out and do nearly as much searching as they used to. So if you've still been using any one of these 4 hacks to try to grow your Instagram profile, the time is now to make a change, right? You can stop putting in the time and energy into that and focus on what really matters. And this should always be a constant. Quality will always beat quantity. Right? Focus on that, and you're going to see your Instagram results improve dramatically over time.